Here's a nice lunchtime video. Let's show the nice folks why System D. You may recall from several videos ago that I had written a script that I ran on a schedule to send me, to email me, this email attachment to remind myself to keep updating it. This is one of my areas to build from, a foothold, a toehold, a beachfront, what have you, in which I do an embedded HTML email. So I have it set up so that I can start making, HTML email. Here's a attached image, so I can attach an image to it. And here's an attached zip file, which if we want to go in and preview, you can see. Oh, can I show it from here? Too bad. I send myself a picture of cats every day. So I guess I can go like that, and I can show it to you here in downloads. And here are the 3 cats that don't exist that I sent to myself. I can't use arrow keys in there, can I? Cat number 2 and cat number 3, using all that standard, AI stuff. This person doesn't exist. Well, this cat doesn't exist is what generates that. And that is just sent to me every day as an email attachment. Here you can see over and over. I haven't been even opening and reading them. But they are an excellent reminder of where to go to put stuff. So where is this running? It's running here in my house on a machine that is not my laptop. But because it's so similar now to these environments I use, you'll recall that if I open a terminal, this is on my local machine. It's a terminal to a local Linux that is hosting JupyterLab, and you can see it by typing screen-ls. Screen-ls. So there it is running, and I can get into it by going screen, reattach to Jupyter. And there it is running. This is the script that controls my instance of JupyterLab that's over here. So if I were to do another screenshot, if you remember a few videos ago, I was doing screenshots in which I perform a headless Google search. So that actually opened Google Chrome, the Chrome browser, genuine Chrome browser, Linux version, but Chrome nonetheless, took a screenshot and saved it to Drive, which is this. You can go in and see it. That is not a web page. That is screenshot.png. I could probably append things like the date to the file name so that it's automatically keeping track of what date the search was performed, because you can't necessarily get it out of the image. But you can see what the search results looked like every day. Well, if you were emailing it to yourself, for example. So you can see where this video is going. This lives just in Jupyter here, but because of forward slashes and it all being identical to how this would run on a Linux server, we can go over to a Linux server that is not this one running on my laptop, but which is almost exactly like it, by going into my other folder. You might have seen that sitting there. One of the others I can log into is my local QNAP server, which is still using LXD to do it. I believe it's this one that'll just pop me in there, because if I'm using LXD, I'm using probably the default Ubuntu user. And here we are. It looks just like when I open a terminal on my local machine, right? Is that this one here? Yeah, right. See how similar that and this looks? This is my local machine, Lunderwand. That's the host name of my laptop. And this is Ev, like Oz. There's another land near Oz called Ev that Dorothy also has adventures in. No, Dorothy, Allison Warner. Yeah, I had that right. So, screen, ls. Hey, look, there's something called Pulse there. Screen, reattach to Pulse. Oh, there's my email getting sent every day. Can I scroll? No, I can't scroll, but the screen program has an API, Control A, escape, and then you can use the Vim keys to Vim key to key around. So Control B will also bring me back, and it brought me to the top there. It didn't take much. So since the last time I ran this, you can see how long it's been since I restarted the script. And if you do something just once per day, it's not going to be that long. You can look and kind of diagnose it, It never misses a beat, which is the point. It's the pulse. It's the pulse of a server I have running at home. And Control A-D will detach, right? See, detached from pulse. It's still running there. I can close out of that. I can go back into that. It has no bearing on whether that thing is running on the background. It is. It's relentlessly running in the background. You can't interrupt it without deliberately doing it, like a Control C would do it here, which is a common mistake, right? Accidentally interrupting with a Control C instead of a Control A-D combination for detaching properly. So, what is Pulse actually running? Well, we can take one more look at it. Go back in one more time. It's not particularly telling us the name of the files or anything. So I can just look at the directories in here. It's only the one thing here, and this, of course, but cd pulse ls, and here's a bunch of things in there. But how do you know how it gets put all together? Well, enter systemd, right? If you want to see what's really going on, you can see your systemd tasks that are running. Let's see, systemd, did just do that. Sudo, oh no, it's systemctl. Systemctl controls systemd, and there's everything that's running. And again, you got your Vim keys, your J and your K to go up and down. And you could find it in here. There's even search in here. So if we wanted to look for /PULSE, see, it works the same in almost all Unix/Linux software. That is, the keys that became conventional based on Vim are used everywhere else. So there I can see Pulse loaded, right? So that matches the directory that I was just looking at, and it's pulse.service, so I know it's a systemd service, right? So I can Control C out of that, clear. And when you have a systemd service, I'll show you how to find systemd stuff. First, you cd to root, and you can ls. And here are all the things that are in root that generally are very privileged. You can't do stuff in these directories except for ones that sort of belong to you. But when you're doing administrative stuff, you often have to go into /etc. A leading slash here assures you you're going in from the root level. You can ls all this stuff. There's a lot there. Now, I happen to know that what I really want is ls. It begins with an S, so I'll ls s asterisk, and you can see just those things running, or just those things in this directory that have that begin with an S. It's less to look at. There's a few here that, no, I guess everything does. No, here they don't, but yeah, okay. So anyway, see that one called system right here? That's where we want to go. CD system. Nope, it's systemd, right? Okay, so CD systemd, clear ls. Now it's fewer stuff to look at, right? So it's system etc/systemd cd system/system ls. Now we're getting somewhere. Here's those .service files. One of them being one that I put into place there. See that? And we can either Vim it for just looking at it. It'll allow us to go into it, but we couldn't save anything here. If we made some stupid mistake and then tried to save it, it wouldn't let us. We're in read-only mode. So this is all that's necessary for defining a service. This is why the huge controversy over systemd, right? Systemd lets you turn almost anything, in this case, this file here, into a service. It's running 24/7. All you have to do is make sure that you code your file so that it can run continuously, and you do that with a while true and a sleep statement, right? So you know you're about, and it's on Python 3.10. I could upgrade that to 3.11 now, and I probably will. But you know that you're just going into home Ubuntu, which is // right? Your home directory, repos pulse. That's where we just were. This is what's scheduling pulse.py. And in fact, if we Control-C'd out of it, it wouldn't be able to not be running for longer than 5 seconds, because the restart seconds 5. If there's no syntax error in the file, the Linux operating system, systemd, knows that this should be running all the time. And if it's not, restart it and check every 5 seconds to make sure. It's set on forking mode, which is necessary for the way that I start it going through the GNU screen program. So the GNU screen program is popular enough for this type of use that it has this extension, which specifically means run as a Linux daemon. Do you not see how beautiful this is? This is like web dev. This is like web development without a web server in the picture. Take all the complexity of having to run an instance of Nginx or Node.js or whatever the heck out of the picture and say, I'm just keeping a Python script running. That's what we're doing here. We're just keeping a Python script running through the GNU screen program so we can see it running and see its output. This parameter that says run screen as a daemon, a Linux service, we give it a name. That's why when we do screen ls, we see the word pulse. That's where it comes from. And then the command that's being run in the new terminal that's being run is the interpreter Python and the file pulse.py. All right. And then it's multi-user target, which means just who can use this, can it be under different accounts. So I quit, and then I cd back to /repos/pulse ls. And there it is, pulse.py. Vim pulse.py. And we can see there's some support functions like run. But what's happening here is, scheduled events. Every day at 10:30 a.m., send the mail. Every 6 hours, do a pulse. Right? So I can open even another terminal to it. Screen reattach pulse. And there's going to be 4 timestamp entries per day, because every 6 hours, 6, 12, 18, 24 hours, 6, 12, 18, 24 hours, 6, 12, 18, 24 hours. And in between these 2 pulses, it sends the email. That's what you're looking at here in the scheduling. Every 6 hours, do pulse. Every day at 10:30, send the mail. And here's the busy loop I was talking about. While true, run schedule.run_pending, sleep 1 second, while true, boom, 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 every second. Could it be any more clear how this works, right? So send mail is a reference to a function. These things can take parameters, but I tend to program them parameterless for simplicity. And it's referring to an outside file. See that? It's referring to an outside file. So how would I put my screen capture thing in? Well, first I'm going to quit without saving, and we're going to make sure that we can run it here. So I'll put it right in the same directory inside the pulse directory, and we'll call it, screenshot. Is that the language that gets used in the file? Screenshot. Yeah, we're calling the screenshot function. So I'll use that as the concept of the file name we need over here. Vim screenshot.py. Insert mode. Oh, what are we going to insert in there? We're going to insert this code from here. I can Shift M after I hit the escape key and copy it in one go. Paste it. Escape, WQ. Should this just work now? Should I be able, well, it's not going to. I'll tell you ahead of time, it's not going to. Python screenshot.py, because I have failed to pip install Playwright. Async with outside. Oh, and it's outside an async function. Oh, that's so interesting. So it works in here in the context of Jupyter, but because it's not part of a function, it's not working. It can't run as a standalone script the way I had intended. So first we'll fix that, but there's still another reason this is not going to run, because I don't think I've pip installed Playwright on this machine yet. So let us put that inside an async function, right? So we're going to have to define an async function, vim screenshot py. And I guess I'll have to double check that def async or async def. Should be totally straightforward. But it's not on this page. Oh, there it is. Yeah. Async def. No big deal, right? Async def main. Async IO run main, right? That's exactly the pattern we should use. That looks like it. Right quit. Screenshot py, and there we go. Mode not found, module found, not found Playwright. Pip install Playwright. Drum roll, please, ladies and gentlemen. We'll do a little before and after. I'll do an ls of this directory showing that there is no screenshot.png. You'll notice no screenshot.png. There's a screen.py, right? But don't confuse that for the shot that's about to be taken. Oh, I might have to load Chrome. Oh, yeah, it doesn't have it yet. Google Chrome. This is really interesting. So the Chrome install is a pain in the arse, let me tell you. But I got you covered. You go into my drink me repo. MikeLev.in / oh yeah, no, it's github.com / MikeLevin / drink me. And that'll bring you to the repo. Now, if you want to be able to install Chrome, all the commands to do it are in here. I have dealt with that enough to have had to have done this. Oh, I'm sorry. It's not git installs, it's apt installs. There we go. So we'll do an update of the system first. Sudo apt. Oh, that's my local machine. We'll get rid of that. We don't need to see that at the moment. Sudo apt update. Doop, 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 doop. Hopefully there's not a lot of packages to update, but you know there's gonna be, because oh, hey, yay, there's not. Excellent. So we can get to the business of this. We'll go line by line. These are some dependencies. It doesn't matter which terminal you do it in because you're enclosed into a virtual directory, a Python venv, so it can only find one pip, and it can only pip install into one location. And so you're all, quite covered, especially the way I set these things to log in. You'll notice in my prompts, these square bracketed pi 310s, 311 on some other machines I'm on. That shows that I have source activated a Python virtual environment before it starts giving the normal prompt you're used to seeing. And so that means all the pip installs are isolated into that environment. So this is a pip install of a bunch of those, prerequisite requirements of Google Chrome. So I'll get the next things ready to execute. We cd into temp because we do this install. This download, we do this wget, which is just a way of copying a file from a remote location, a .deb install file from the latest Google Chrome stable current amd64.deb from dl.google.com/linux/direct. This is an alternative to apt installing from the Debian repository. It's also an alternative to apt installing from repos that you add, like the Dead Snakes repository, where I get Python 3.1. You can download a file locally, then apt install from local, and then I put those there to check graphics, but that's not even required. Let's see where we're at. Okay, the Chrome requirements are done. Clear screen, clear mind. cd/tmp. Download the Google Chrome Debian installer. And then we apt install it from that location. And that should pretty much be it. Then the screen snapshots will be able to run on the server. And of course, I usually put these commands as part of a server build script. So you have just one script you just run on any generic Linux server, and it builds it into the same thing because it copies things into location. You can copy .service files into /systemd/system and enable the service and start the service. And bam, it's sprinkling the magic fairy dust onto a generic Linux server, so long as it's systemd, right? This is the controversy over systemd. Systemd makes things easy, but it also takes a lot of responsibility for managing things on a Linux system, which people say violates the Unix philosophy, monolithic code versus small modular bits. But Linux itself violates the Unix philosophy. A large kernel, a large monolithic kernel that tightly couples a lot of its components. So in for a penny, in for a pound, you got your Linux kernel, you got systemd, which is perfectly paired for it, for a very powerful, portable, generic tech plumbing kind of environment, right? The stuff I'm doing here just rarely doesn't work. Rarely does it ever not work. So long as you're using a Debian derivative Linux, which includes Ubuntu, Linux, Debian itself, Raspberry Pi Linuxes, and a number of others. It's becoming canonical, although it's not POSIX compliant. It's funny, the non-POSIX compliant Linux, because it uses its own repo instead of the RPM, Red Hat Package Manager, because it uses its own repo, it is not considered standard, Unix compatible Linux. It creates its own ecosystem, its own world with the DBPKG, Debian packaging system. But the company who's popularizing it, who's working in combination with Microsoft, Canonical, that makes Ubuntu, they named their company Canonical. So the non-canonical Unix is becoming the canonical, or the non-canonical Linux is becoming the canonical Linux. Da-dum-dum. All right, so Google Chrome is now installed. I can clear cd /repos pulse ls python screenshot.py. This is the first time it's doing it, so, I called Python the interpreter, but really it does some just-in-time compiling when stuff is run for the first time. ls screenshot.png. I can email that. I can email that to myself as part of the mail program instead of the 3 cats. I don't need to see the 3 cats every day, but performing a search on my name certainly wouldn't hurt. But the cat thing put a lot of stuff in place. I'll leave it. I'll just add another attachment for now, and I'll email myself the 3 cats plus the screen snapshot, shall we? So the screen snapshot is sitting there. We need to make the running of this program on that same schedule as the email being sent. So we vim pulse.py, and we look for where we would insert it. We look at the schedule, we see, and by the way, I can put decorators up here and get rid of the scheduling down here. There's 2 ways, 2 APIs to create the scheduling. I'm going to keep it listed like this for now because I don't want to do too many things in one video. But in the future, I'll probably switch to decorated timing. So the thing that's running every 6 hours is the function called pulse. So we can just go into pulse here. Oh no, we want the one that's running once a day. We don't want to send things to ourselves every 6 hours. We want to just send it once per day. And that function is called sendMail. And in sendMail, you can see this command is being executed. And put another command in there. That program is called screenshot.py, right? The program is called screenshot.py. Save. And now that's going to take the screenshot every day, right? We know the program works. It's in location. It's all out of the one directory. That's taking a search engine result placement screenshot every day. Now, it might not be finding my data file. I'm sure it's not finding logged in as me, so it's probably top 10 instead of top 100. But we'll see that as we email it to myself. I'll force one to actually occur right now. Let's think this through. It's now available. So when sendcats.py runs, it now has screenshots sitting there. Oh, can't have that dot in there. Okay, it now has screenshot.py sitting in there. So we can quit out of the scheduled event and look at vim sendcats. We can find where in sendcats the attachment is made of the zip file, right? So there's a .zip file here. Actually, it's closer to my logo. It's closer to the, I think it was .png. Yeah, here's the logo. Open the logo. Yeah, right. And then we attach the logo to the image. So I'll tighten this up because these lines work as a unit, and I'll comment it. Attach my logo. But now I have a nice unit to copy here and paste again. instead of attach my logo, it's attach my SERP. And we'll call that screenshot. We won't call it that. We will put its correct name in there. File name is Mike Levin SEO SERP. Content ID image, and we attach it to the message dictionary. We recycle the same message image, you know, but it's okay to recycle that stuff, you know, it's no big deal. Yeah. And when it gets sent now, it should now also have that SERP in there, amazingly, right? So I'll save that. Now, the interesting stuff is I just edited a lot of stuff that's, you know, in memory. So does it really run again? Any change in sendcats will automatically take effect because that is not in memory until the scheduled event occurs. But pulse.py is the file that has the busy loop, the while true busy loop. It's never not running. So any edits to that file are not actually in memory yet. So we're going to have to restart the service. And since we're going to restart the service, it'll give us a good opportunity to schedule something, I guess, right away. I should put the code in to allow testing of things right away. And we'll probably do that together right now. That's a good topic. So we can run Python right in a terminal here. You get the same Python 3.10 that the script is running under. And let's see. What we want to do is schedule something a short moment from now. So we take a look at Vim Pulse, which is where the scheduling goes, and we look at how things get scheduled, right? So you can schedule something once, right? You can schedule something for what is essentially now, but we're going to add a little bit of time. We can see the use of now right here, right? So we have date time now available to us. Now we need to add a little bit of time to date time now, and I guess that's what we'll do in that other Python terminal that's open, right? So we import date time, and we can now print this to know that we actually have a date time object, right? Print, right? I could also be doing this in Jupyter, right? So just so you know, Jupyter is like a souped up version of this. This is what inspired first IPython, a souped up version of this in the command line, and then Jupyter, which is a souped up version of IPython, and so on. So we need something called time delta. We need to add date time. So I guess, you know, I would go through a similar process as what maybe you would doing this for the first time. It's like, you know, just Google, you know, Python add to date time. And we'll get an example. Add time to a date time. It's going to be importing time delta, right? I've done this enough in the past to know that I'm about to see the importing of time delta, right? So from date time, import time delta. And then you can add stuff like this. So we're, instead of, you know, adding, we're going to, we're going to add just like 1 minute. All right. Yeah, there we go. That's our answer. From date time, import time delta. And then you can say print datetime.now plus time delta, and then we can get the API off of that page. Minutes equals, I'll do seconds equals 5, and I'll schedule something for something for 5 seconds after the script starts. And there it is. So, you know, if I were to run that without the time delta, it would be 5 seconds earlier. That 10 would have been a 5. So, I know I got the working code, right? So this is it, 5 seconds from now. And so we can go to here and let's take a look. Interesting. Schedule every day at okay, we've got to convert it into, I might have to do 1 minute from now. 10:30, 10:31. Yeah, maybe 1 minute would make it much clearer. So I do have to get it down to this sort of format. It's not date time, it's actually just time. I should have probably just added, but from, let's see. Show just time from date time, Python. Compare only, extract from time from date time, right? Geeks, I hate that because of Geeks for, this is, it's not as ad laden as it normally is. Yuck, yuck, yuck. This is what gives Python sort of a bad reputation. Output, there it is, extract dot time, time equals dot time. All right, let's try just dot time of a date time object, right? How do you do that, you say? And just repeat this and say dot time. Oh, yeah, I'm doing that on the, I have to do that on a resulting object. There we are. And I can probably continue to use seconds for what I'm adding. Yeah. All right. So I got a pretty good answer, right? I should be able to schedule something like with that level of precision. I guess we can just chop that off at this point, right? So once you have something like that, and you've got, a dot something, you can convert. Okay, well, now is definitely time when we bring it into Jupyter. It's just ridiculous to keep it here. Now this shows you, I guess, why Jupyter is like a calculator running all the time. You should always feel free to create an untitled. You can always go back later and delete your untitled's, but now you can, from date time, import date time / time delta, and it'll run exactly like it did before. But now you're in this much freer environment, right? You can put that on its own line and it'll run, but you can also convert it into a string by putting quotes around it and an F in front of it and then curly brackets around it. That's an F string. And once things are an F string, you can do further formatting on them. Like cutting off the last digits. It's converted to a string. So you can do a function inside of there. Oh, well, it's not converted to a string until it displays. Let's see. It's that strf time stuff. I could have probably used that instead of, yeah, year, hour, minute, seconds, right? I'll start with that, and then I'll modify it. Ugh. Right. This is what gives Python a bad name for date times, right? It's just tricky every time to figure this stuff out. So instead of an F string, I'll just turn that into a datetime object, right? dt equals. Now you can put dt in here. Now you can put datetime.striptime, datetime string. What's the difference between datetime string? Oh, that's a true datetime. That's the actual datetime object out there, right? We use the actual datetime object out there, right? I'm gonna get rid of the smart quotes. That weirdness is just being created by smart quotes. Must be string, not datetime.time. Oh, it wants. Well, I'm taking the long way around. That's actually formatting a string. dt dot, and we do the tab a couple of times. That should work, right? Where's our command line completion? There it is. Minutes and seconds. All right, we can just cobble it together, right? So once you have a datetime object, we can just format that into a string. Curly quotes. The curly, yeah, see, I'll just stop talking and do it. In fact, it should be more like this. If I did this kind of stuff every day, it would just roll off automatically, but I do it infrequently enough that, you know, I'm going to do 10 seconds. All right, this is good. This is good. So we go over here, we make sure that time delta is one of the imported things at the top. It's not, so we add it. I like to keep this waterfall looking arrangement. And I'll create a global variable saying in 10 secs. In 10 sec equals, that is in 10 seconds. Now we want to string format it right away too, right? And we can reuse the same variable name again as well. I guess I want to use DT over here, so I don't have to rewrite all that. So date time is that, so in 10 seconds is that. And so now I can schedule something using the in 10 seconds as a string value, right? Every day at in 10 sec and we want to do send mail. I'm going to, every time this thing gets restarted, it's going to go through that. So in 10 seconds, but we're going to need a version of it that can run once, because we don't want it to, well, maybe that'll be the time it runs every day. No, that'd be a little bit annoying. I could use decorators to make that other version of the function. Yeah, I want to make this easy to follow. Instead of using a decorator, I'm going to just do this thing again. Give it a different name. Send mail once. There's different ways I could handle this. I could parameterize it. But this is the easiest. Don't repeat yourself. I say don't repeat yourself. Send mail once, scheduled for 10 seconds after the script starts. Oh, and then the reason I do this is do once. So it's going to be something like schedule dot remove or something, but we're still going to have to find it. This is pi schedule. Run a job once. Schedule dot cancel job. Return schedule dot cancel job. See, it's returned from the function that ought to be canceled. So we can now put that. Boom, 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 boom. Sorry about the shaky screen, but I would do it like with smooth transitions. If the screen capture software captured that, it doesn't capture it, so I have to use the 4-finger swoosh. All right. So that should schedule a job to run 10 seconds after the scheduling restarts. So how do we do that? How do we restart scheduling and see if it works? We will print running this once on service start. And then it does all that stuff. It creates a screenshot. It emails me. I have the email program ready and waiting. None of them have SERP data in there. I guess I'll do a kind of before and after by going into the first one. You'll see it's just got 2 attachments. That's the first one. It's the only red one in a while. So the new one will come above it, which will have another attachment, hopefully, which is the SERP screen snapshot. And now for that, we go into, I have 2 terminals to it open. I'll do this one. I'll exit out of the Python. We don't need that anymore. Exit, like that, clear. And now just a reminder, screen ls, that's where the service is running, screen hyphen reattach pulse. Now watch this. I'll deliberately control C out of it. The last one, it was, today is the 29th or 30th. Today's the 30th. Yeah, there's the 30th, right? 30, 30, 30. The last three are on the 30th. It was the 29th and three from the 30th so far today. It's Greenwich Mean Time. I can Control C out of it. Copy mode aborted, but a Control C again. That actually interrupted the running program. It's not running anymore. And it exited out by being Control. So if we do that, there's nothing matching pulse right now. Still nothing matching pulse. Oh, if it doesn't start, there's a very good chance I have some syntax error in there, right? So if after 5 seconds it fails, no, I was just impatient. If after 5 seconds it fails to restart, you have to check and see if you have a syntax error in the script. But there, it waited 10 seconds, and now it's sending the email. It's doing exactly what it's supposed to. Email sent. I should be able to go over here. And in a moment, a new email should just poof, arrive. And look, it's got 2 embedded images. There's the SERP. There's the SERP just run. Now, I could make the file names different. Every time it's going to be screenshot.jpg. And so there's no real documentation so far that this is different than the one that came in from the day before it, except for the fact that the results may be different. There's nothing. So I will have to tend to like changing the file name and stuff. And I guess that would be easy enough because I have that logic now. So I can close out of this and we can do another. You see how easy it is to test and refine because we force it to run 10 seconds after the service restarts to do one test, right? So let's make the file a different name every time. It doesn't even have to be done in here. Yeah, it doesn't have to be done in the scheduling file, but screenshot.py will need a change inside that file, as will sendcats, because it will have to pick the same name. And I am introducing a possible bug if this was scheduled right on the split where one comes back with a different day from another, but the odds of that are cosmically slim. So we can Control C out of that. Clear. CD into, no, not CD, Vim into send cats. Well, no, first I'll edit 2 files at once. I'll edit 3 files at once. Vim, sendcats.py, screenshot.py, and pulse.py, because pulse.py currently contains the lovely logic. We can do B next to switch between them. Oh, I have that loaded into memory somewhere else. Is that over here? Yeah, that's over here. So I'll quit out of it here so I don't get that message. You can do :E to remind yourself what file you're on. B next. Pulse.py, that's where the logic I need is. It's this, and now I can copy with Vim's internal buffers, so since they're all sort of internal. And yeah, here's the screenshot program. Indulge me as I enforce my waterfall line length format there. And now we want that same B pulse. No, it wasn't in B pulse. It was in here. This is good logic for formatting. Oh, it's the day. It's only the day we need. Oh, yeah. All right, you know what? for making a file name, a good place to start is Jupyter, right? So datetime.now in an F string. That's almost a good file name. We just want to chop off that last little bit. Let's try if we can just do date. There, that's it. That's enough to make a unique file name, because I'm probably only going to care about, this screenshot was produced on this particular day, right? So that is the magic that goes into a file name. Now it says another email arrived. Am I sending myself that over and over? I don't think so. Shows as if I didn't read it. Oh, look at that. Yes. Certainly there's some kind of loop going on where it didn't cancel. It didn't cancel itself, where it ran twice for some reason. I'll have to check my scheduling logic. But before I do, I will use that file name command now. So I've imported datetime here. And now the file that gets saved, I can turn that into an F string. Screenshot hyphen datetime. Yep, .png. That should certainly do it. That gives it a file name. Now we need to know to attach a file by that actual file name. There's also the annoying little detail that they're going to accumulate up on the hard drive, which I guess I'll make into a separate video. But this is actually important, this logic here, from f-string open to f-string close, because that now has to become the attachment in here. Instead of just attaching screenshot.png, and sometimes I use a less efficient buffer, but that'll do it. Now we quit out, and we do want to check out the scheduling again. This gets scheduled in 10 seconds. The function send once. Which takes a screenshot and sends it, and then cancels the job. This job should be canceled after it runs once. And it runs every day at in 10 seconds. Send email once. That seems correct. I don't know why it has the repeating email issue. I guess I'll find out. Save. Quit. Make sure I don't have the screen program in one of the other ones. Screen ls, screen reattach pulse. Oh yeah. There's no screen to be resumed matching pulse.py. Pulse without the py. There it is. It only ran once. I'll Control-C out of it. and then I'll try reattaching to it. And within about 5 seconds, it'll be back in there. And then within about 10 seconds, the email will be sent again. Datetime is not defined inside of sendcat, so cd, not cd, but vim sendcats gg from datetime, import datetime, quit. Control C, try reattaching, try reattaching, try reattaching. See, 5 seconds. Within 5 seconds, it's relaunched. It's System D, ladies and gentlemen, a practical alternative to web dev. A file missing. Did the screenshot program not save it out correctly? Did I do an ls here? Yeah, the screenshot program did not save it out correctly. So I can do Python screenshot.py. It's running correctly, it seems, without error. It does take a while to instantiate an invisible Google Chrome, but that should come back just fine. I'm sure that file got updated there. Oh, there it is with its py extension. It may be that it just didn't run correctly in memory. So let me remove screenshot star.png ls. It got rid of the file because we got to make sure the scheduling to work correctly is able to create that file. Vim pulse.py. Maybe that was still in memory. I thought everything that was scheduled is dumped from memory. Send once is scheduled. Send once first does screenshot.py, and then it does this. That all looks correct. Maybe I'll give it a second. Sleep 5 seconds between creating the image and the attempt to send it in an email. Hey, from time import sleep, already have it there. Control C on the scheduling. I provide no assurances of screen redraws. Screen redraw errors do occur. There's our send mail. No such file or directory screenshot. Should be there. Is it not running the right one? Oh, running this once on service start. Yeah, running this once on service start, sending email. Sendcats.py line 60. Screenshot hyphen data as FH. It's inside of that. File not found. Screenshot hyphen. Was that file not created? Oh, it's probably CD'd into a different directory. Do I have to give these path names? No, it found screenshot. It was able to do the normal screenshot. I need output from the program that prints the screenshot. Yes. Vim screenshot. Screenshotting. after the async stuff is initiated, it's no point saying done. Unless we do it here. Maybe we can print it done here. I love the fact you hardly have to wait, that the scheduling at 10 seconds from the script starting worked exactly as planned. Well, it definitely entered sending email before it did the screenshot. So there's something wrong with the scheduling of the screenshot command. Oh, wait, there's only one run in here. That'll do it. Oh, I see. Yeah, doy. Oh, interesting. PYX. PYX. Current working directory. PYX, current working directory, and a run after each one. And we certainly don't need a 5-second delay anymore. We'll make that a 2-second delay. I had to explicitly tell it to run. I was populating the command, but without the 2 runs in there, one after each command is built, it's certainly not going to execute the command. So this should be it. Control C. Huh. It jumped right into sending email again. And that's going to be an error, because if we don't see the fact that the screenshotting done. Yeah. Is that it? Email sent. All right. All right. Let's take a look. Inbox. Now the thing here is this has to have a file name, the last one attached. Did these all come in today? I might have some diagnosing to do, but the important thing here is that this one has the correct file name. Oh, it uses the explicitly provided file name. Oh, so interesting. Not even without the dot something extension. Okay. We can fix that. Vim pulse. That's where's that now? That's in sendcats. File name equals. Now I use that file name equals to create this. And so this just becomes an F string now instead. I'll use Vim's built-in buffers. Mike Levin SEO SERPs. Mike Levin SEO date time. All right. Now we will Control C. Bring it back up one more time. Takes a little bit of time for this to occur because instantiating an instance of Google Chrome headlessly on a remote server. This is not even running on my laptop. This is using Chrome remotely. Email sent. A drum roll, please. Where's that? Yeah. Show the latest. There it is, Mike-11-SEO. You can see the ping there. So I don't even need to download it locally, but if I did, you would now see it's got the right file name. Look at that. SERPs emailed to you daily. Custom SERPs emailed to you daily. Like I thought, it's not logged in as my user account. It's more of a generic search, but all the better for these things. It says most users would see on a login on a Google search screen snapshot without their customized stuff. Anyway, that gets the point home, and you saw me do that, and you're seeing why systemd now. It's really a big deal. It's like an alternative to web dev. Thanks for joining me. Hope to see you again soon, and don't forget to develop your code in JupyterLab and migrate it to a .py file scheduled under systemd.